At the our suction units, this LCSU Laerdal suction unit, you can see that it's got an identification for your station on top. This box is going to come just like this. When we open it up, we're going to see our components in here. These are obviously open already, but you'll have a French catheter. This is pretty much likely how you're going to see it. You'll have this is called your Yankauer tip, and then your suction, compact suction unit is in here. When we pull this out like this, we're going to see the charging port on it right here. So these will hold their charge. They're going to be in the truck, sealed in their box until use, and then once they're used, you're going to have to come back and charge it again and then put it back in. So they won't be charging at this point on the trucks. When you look at this right here, you've got your suction unit as it sits right here, and you've got your cradle, you've got your reservoir right here, and let's see, that's how it's going to come set up. Then you've got your suction tubing comes separately, your Yankauer tip, and the French catheter. So when we're going to assemble this, we're going to go ahead and just put this back in here like this. This unit goes to the side over here. Okay. This piece comes off of here to move it and rotate it. All these caps need to be on. These do not. This is where your suction tubing is going to get connected. This is where the actual items that you're removing are going to come through and enter into this reservoir. This piece here does not get thrown away unless it somehow gets really dirty. There's a one-way valve below this in the container, so you can keep this unless it gets really nasty somehow. This is the tip you're going to be using a lot of the time. This is going to be put on here, and it's likely to be in the bag right here so that it's sterile when we use it. On the top of the suction unit, if you can see that, you have the power button here, which will turn it on. You have a meter right here. So if you can see baby over here, that's that light blue. That's, you don't want to go much further than 150 on an infant. This red label on here is 250, and that's for young adults and adults. We really don't want to go much higher than that. If I take this off and I look at the amount of suction, turning this up on this side, this dial, will only create a larger vacuum. It won't create suction faster. It's always at the same rate, but as you can see, if it's all the way up, it'll just create more suction. Okay? It'll go all the way up to 550, and you can hurt someone doing that. We can dial this back to stop at that 250. So if you're watching this and it's going beyond 250, you want to let whoever is doing it know, or you want to be able to say, hey, I'm going to just stop there and not go any further. So this is how the unit is on our trucks. If we pull spare reservoir off of the aligner rig, it's going to look like this, okay? And they've got the same tubing, they've got the same tips, but this is their reservoir, a much smaller one that may not be big enough. So for the time being, until you get a replacement, take that and use it. This is Station 1's. It's also got the red mark on it, so just keep that in mind. Let's see here. So now we're going to cover these two different types of tips and how they're used. This cat back in here, it just operates right out of the container. So I got this nice little head here. Not a real good demonstration model, but on this Yankauer tip, you're going to see a vent right here. So this is curved so that it doesn't cause a lot of damage when we're going in. But we're going to turn the suction unit on. We're going to keep our finger off the vent. We're going to enter the airway, and then we're going to cover the vent and suction on the way out of the airway. Open it up again, so we're not suctioning on the way in. Cover the vent, and suction on the way out. You can see that this may not work real well for smaller airways on kids or infants. So when we have a situation where we need to get into someplace smaller than that Yankauer tip, we're going to pull this French catheter out. And the French catheter installs just like this, but your vent is in a different spot. The vent is here. So this tip, you can see there's holes on the side and there's a hole on the end. This is a really good tip for inserting into the nasal airway and then suction on the way out. You can also get into smaller oral airways and suction on the way out. These are really good for kids, infants, that the sputum and vomit really obstructs the airway really quickly, and this is going to be a much larger tip, and it's not going to do much good for us in those situations. So just keep in mind to not go over the 250. Know that both of these tips are going to be available for you in the bag. So when you've got a small airway, ask for the French. Know the difference between the two. Once you use this and take it out, when we want to get rid of this, we're going to pull this off. We're going to use this cap over here to cap that top. We're going to use this cap on the side to cover this. And we're going to throw this whole thing and all of this tubing, including the tip, whatever tips we use, away. Now, one quick trick is this tube is going to contain a bunch of stuff. So if we drop this in our red bag to get rid of it, drop this in the red bag, we can use this cap here in reverse to plug that tubing so that we're pulling this all out together and everything is in that tube and we're just trashing this whole thing. Remember to hold on to this, it's reusable. If you pop this lid off, you'll see that one-way valve in the bottom, so it's stopping anything from getting in that tube. If for some reason this gets all icky, throw it away. We have spares, and wipe this down with a solution that'll clean it up nice and before we put it back into service. But otherwise, this is all red bag material. This goes back and we replace the container. So any questions, ask your officer, and that's it.